Dude, I don't know what it is, and like we'll talk about it when we fully start. But the water down in Oklahoma, like, is just churning out. Like it's like the new hot spot. I feel like it's. I feel like lately it's been like Wisconsin and Oklahoma has just been kind of battling for like who can put out the best music.
Yeah, for sure. I was gonna say Wisconsin's popping right now, and Oklahoma City is popping. Like yeah, there's so much. Ben Quad, Red Sun, Cliff Diver. I mean, Me Too Things. I mean, so many bands here. And then, like I said, with Wisconsin, Imway, Ends Well, freaking Tiny Voices. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
they're
it's
insane.
insane. Um, but I mean, it's really cool to see what it's like doing for like the scene right now too, because not there's anything against all the other states that are out there, but it's just cool to see like the two states that you don't really like
Right.
anticipate it coming from are just like blowing up in the best ways.
No, yeah, most
It
definitely.
definitely feels kind of special. I don't know. It's cool.
Yeah,
And to be able to be a part of it and just see it firsthand, to be able to go to these shows. I mean, to play them too, of course, but be able to just go to shows and like watch your homies just rip just rip a gig, if you will, and just like kill it, and then to have so much support behind them all too. It's so cool. It's really
yeah.
become a man fight community.
Yeah, it feels
It
good, man.
really
It feels
has,
really good.
for sure.
Oh, yeah. Do you each have a possible unopened beer to do the opening crack with?
I mean, we got.
Sir, we got a 6 pack of PBR ready to
Hell yeah!
go.
I'm ready.
All right, what I'll do is I'll count us in. We'll crack these beers. I'll do the little intro, bring the two of you in, and we'll just have a good time.
Cool.
Sarah, let's go.
All right. Oh yeah. All right. In three, two, one. Welcome to the Beers with Bands podcast with your host, Michael Torres. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Beers with Bands. This week, I got another kick-ass Oklahoma band on the podcast. I'm sitting down with King Pink. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing good.
Doing pretty
great.
good, man.
So enjoying this Tuesday. So
Yeah.
Right? I don't know what it was recently, but like I think I got done recording an episode, and I got probably done around like 8 o'clock, 7:30, 8 o'clock, and I left like my little like room that I do everything in because I have like the blind shut in here, and I walked into the kitchen, and I was like, oh shit, it's still sunny out. Like it feels really weird already in this time of the month or time of the year. Like we're recording right now at 7 o'clock, sun's fully shining through, giving us a good backlight on YouTube. Like it's a great time of year.
yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
I'm an early to bed kind of person. I'm usually, no joke, in bed by like 9 o'clock. So, but the fact that the sun is still out, that kind of trips me out a little bit. But other than that, I'm here for it. So
Yeah.
It's nice though. It's nice to have like these like sunny evenings, where you can just like chill outside and it's not too hot, not too cold, sun's out. It feels good.
Right. It's great. Um, Basically, I just hate when it gets super dark during the winter. Is what I'm getting at. Like
for sure.
everyone mainly does. Yeah. But enough of that. We're here to talk about King Pink, which is what the two of you are in. For people that might not be aware, King Pink is a kind of like a post-hardcore. I feel like there's a little bit of shoegaze in there, somewhat, but a nice little mix from Oklahoma City, and you have a new EP out, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. Before we get too far, can you say who you are and what you do in King Pink?
Let you go.
Okay. Yeah. My name's Dylan, and I play guitar in King Pink.
And I'm Taylor. I play guitar and I sing for King Pink, and do all the social media stuff too. So.
You got the short end of the stick on that one.
For sure, yeah. It's probably because I'm the shortest member, so somehow that's how that works. So
Yeah, that's why you have to do all the social media stuff.
yeah,
You're the
literally
shortest member.
on my height.
Yeah, we were like, well, you're the shortest one, dude. So it's up to you, man. Like you gotta run the socials.
I'm here.
Sorry,
I'm a trooper. I'm a trooper. So.
And we are obviously missing a couple members. Who are they, and what do they do in King Pink?
Yeah, we're missing Skylar Wilkerson, our bass player, and he also records us.
He's produced pretty much anything we put out.
Yeah.
Other than 2 singles, which are not online right now, but we had some issues with our old bass player and they got taken off, but now we're fixing that. But other than those 2 songs, Skylar's done everything.
Yeah, our last EP and this EP he has recorded and produced.
As well as Strangers, a single of ours.
Yeah.
And then we also have Kevin. Kevin Reese, our drummer. Man, he does all of our music videos. Because he has his own production company, KR Films. So he does every music video for King Pink. Any acoustic, in studio live stuff. It's all done by him. He also designed our hats and has done a couple other visual things for us. So, yeah, shout out.
That's a super talented dude, crazy talented guy.
It's kind of amazing how you have all of these amazing I can't think of the right word, but you have all these people in the group that are capable of doing all these things. You have production, you have someone able to do music videos, where a lot of bands might just have a production person or someone that's just kind of dabbling in it, but to really round out King Pink and have everyone in there that can really contribute in that way, those are prime secret weapons. I don't know the right term. I can't think of the right term that you want to have.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it definitely. I feel like I don't say gave us a leg up at the beginning, but it really made things easier just to get stuff out. Being able to write and demo stuff out with Skylar, and then eventually take it to full production. It's made the songwriting process super easy. Just being able to, get music out there. We have to schedule and coordinate dates to record with him, of course, but it's really been pretty easy. He lives down the street. He's already in the band, so he's into it.
It's we're pretty lucky that we're extremely lucky that that both those guys are as talented as they are. It's kind of insane. It's a very good situation for us. You know what I mean? It's really cool to go to other artists with your work and have them, have a videographer create a music video with their own interpretation, but to have someone from your own band do that it's even more personal, kind of, in a lot of ways. It's just crazy. I don't know. It's really cool. Same with the recording too. You know what I mean? It feels like there's so much of us baked into these songs, and it's crazy. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, because it's nice too that like you said, you could have someone come in from the outside and kind of interpret the vision and try and get what you really want out of it. But to have someone there from the early demos to final product, and then they're along for the vision the entire time, and they kind of really get the whole aspect as to what the 4 of you want to do. That's a nice capability to be able to do.
Yeah,
it's crazy. It's very cool. Very cool.
Oh yeah, and if we have an idea of something that might be a little more, I don't know, off the wall or something, we can pitch it to them, and they're not just what are you doing? Sometimes it can be I'm crazy, but I can usually throw something to them, and they're like, okay, I get it. I see what you're doing, because I know you. I get your vision, and so it's really really nice working with those guys. Really, it's really cool to be able to do all the stuff we do with those guys.
Super super cool.
So I kind of wanted to, before we get to the new EP, obviously we're talking for the first time. I don't know a whole lot about King Pink, and I'm sure that there's some people out there that are finding you for the first time from this EP that might not know a lot about the 4 of you as well. I know that some of the first singles came out in 2019. I think the one song I was listening to that I don't have up on my other screen, I think it was Jar. Was that sound?
Oh, Tar.
Yeah. Almost had it. I listened to that today and kind of worked my way to everything new, but take me back to 2019. How was it getting together and making this crew? Obviously, I'm going to blank on names. Steve, the bass player, you said? Skylar. Oh my God, that was so far off. Skylar came in later, but how did this originally form for King Pink?
Man, so I guess going back to the beginning, I had a couple song ideas, but like the end of 29 or 2018 ish, 2019, or I guess beginning of 2019. And I had reached out to a mutual friend of ours, another Dylan, um, about jamming and just seeing what we could do with these songs. I didn't have any expectations for it other than let's get together, make some music. If it becomes something, we
Yeah.
record it. Cool. If not, cool. And then
yeah, well, like, and I mean, we have both been in bands forever.
yeah.
So I mean, I've known Taylor for quite a while. We actually
cool.
we didn't really ever like hang though until you hit me up about playing in a band, and then we started playing together and hanging together. It was great.
So me and other Dylan
Right.
reached out to Dylan and another friend of ours to meet up, and then when I heard this dude start just shredding his guitar, I was like, dude, I would like to work with you. And then it's evolved from there.
Yeah.
We've since we picked Kevin up, just an old friend of mine. I've known him since I was about 12 years old. And I was like, I really want to work with him, so we got him on board for drums. And then I've known him for a long time.
That's crazy.
And then we had another bassist before Skylar named Tyler, who also produced all of the stuff. And so we
had a model from the beginning.
Yeah, we did.
Our bass player is going to record us. That's our model.
For sure. But yeah, no, back then it was literally just like we have these cool songs, let's just try to get them out. And then we put the first 2 singles out, and then I think we played a handful of shows, like before like Ben Quad dropped their EP and like blew up. We played a couple shows with them, and then COVID hit, and then everything just fell off. And that's about when we parted with Tyler, met up with Skylar, and then from there it's just been me, you, Skylar, Kevin.
Yeah, I feel like we didn't have a ton of traction until around that time, just because of everything that was going on with everybody, and with the world, I guess. But like, I feel like around that time period, we should have like 2021 sometime or something.
Whenever we first started like dropping stuff, or whenever we first started getting back.
Yeah.
It was like the end of 2020, early 2021. I think our first show back, it was a house show with our other band, Cheap Kites, like more of a Midwest emo band we used to be in. I think it was Ben Quad, Sunfo, and then another band from Tulsa, Goodridge, some homies of ours. We ended up doing a pretty solid like house show.
Yeah, that was a really good one.
Yeah, it was fun. I think it was like late 2020, early 2021, and that's whenever we first started having people really, I don't say give a shit, but people like really tried to to kind of get it. I think at that point, and
I don't know, it almost didn't really. In retrospect, I feel like we weren't like really. We just didn't have our wheels going yet. I don't think until around then. Like, you know what I mean? Like we were. It took a long time to kind of get it moving. Just because just life is crazy. I mean, I'm 31, and it's just hard to do stuff as you get older. I don't know, like schedules get crazy. It just gets really difficult. So I feel like we finally locked into some sort of like groove with Skylar and Kevin around that time period, and we really okay, this is a band, like this is a real band.
It was kind of like they were like I'd say missing pieces, but they really like once we got them on board and started doing the thing, it
clicked for sure.
Yeah, it just worked really well.
Yeah.
And that's basically up until about 2020, 2021.
Yeah, I mean, the very summarized version.
Which did lead up to the debut EP, which you did self-titled, came out in 2022. All these like EPs, EP and like the singles that we've been talking about. Everyone that's listening, please go still check those out. Like they all fucking rip still. Because like I said, I went through everything and started kind of with Tar and then made my way up to Timelines, and I had the self-titled in there, and like just kind of
That's
really
pretty cool.
seeing like the whole timeline of the band in retrospect. And it's cool to see that progression and like how you guys have always been like pretty much the same at the core, and you just kind of see the maturing sound throughout. But it's been pretty much King Pink throughout. I feel like.
For sure. Yeah, I feel like we, no matter what like style or genre or whatever we try to delve into, we're always gonna have some kind of something that's just us. You know, like you're gonna always be able to know that it's King Pink. It's always gonna be inherently King Pink, whether we're doing Strangers with the freaking breakdown, you know, or we're doing a Snowshoe, which is a song about my cat, you know, and where I get all real soft and you know, yeah, we're always just gonna have that.
That
flavor,
DNA. Well, I think like just the formula, like like figuring out how to like click together and stuff. We kind of we started we were figuring out like how to write songs together and how to build on what Taylor is bringing with the structure and vocals and like kind of how to create something that we're all kind of a part of out of that. I think we sort of developed that like that process pretty well, and now no matter kind of what because we all have different influences, right? Like
for sure.
Like Kevin played in Sledge for like that was
7 years.
Yeah, and that is a very heavy band, and he's like he's an incredible drummer, and so it's really really cool to get somebody like him playing with us. You know what I mean? Because he's from a totally it's a bit of a different world. I mean, it's definitely there's crossover, but it's definitely two different genres.
But from deathcore, hardcore, to this.
But that's just it. Like the fact, like there is going to be some of that in there. You know what I mean? No matter what, because of the type of drummer he is and like what he loves and what he listens to. So there's just a little bit of that weird DNA in there. You know what I mean? And so you can hear that, I think, in pretty much all the songs. I don't know. He really popped off on timelines. Like he was going crazy.
For sure. Yeah. Which funny little side note about timelines, how you were saying you listened to the discog from Tar up through timelines. We wrote timelines probably 2019 or so. We just sat on it for a while. We weren't sure what we wanted to do with it, and then when we were writing the rest of this record over like the last year or so, we were like, we really like that song. Let's get that in there, and so that ended up being the title track and everything.
Right. It kind of felt appropriate.
Yeah, it was like it's like 5 years in the making.
Quite literally. Insane.
Yeah. Insane. You can tell because the guitars are slightly less overdriven, just like back in the day. I don't know.
But yeah, like that's cool that like you have Kevin coming in from Sludge, and like I always love the bands that have one member that like was really big into like hardcore or metalcore, because like just seeing how it tweaks everything else. Like I can't remember who it was. I was talking. I think they mainly were more like on the pop punk scale, but one of their members was like super big into like hardcore and all that stuff. So like all their stuff kind of had a little bit more riffiness than like the normal pop punk stuff would have, and like it's just a cool aspect to kind of put in there, because it basically takes the genre as a whole, but then you have your own spin on it, so it really makes it like your own and sound more unique than like everyone else in the scene that might be doing the same overarching genre in general.
Definitely. Yeah, sure. It's really really cool to get a little bit of that in there. I think I don't know, it's just very cool. It's very very cool. I've always been a fan of like kind of genre blending stuff, as cliche as it sounds like, but it's like true. It's really cool when you get a little bit of one aspect of a genre into a different genre like that, and even if it's like a very detailed thing, like just the way that Kevin drums, like some of the choices that he makes in the songs are just like, you just hear that and you're like, oh yeah, that's some Sledge shit or something, like even if it's just a little bit,
it's like the slightest little blast beat,
it's really really cool. It's very really cool. I think that kind of helps make an identity for you as a band as well. You know, it kind of helps you stand out a little bit.
So pigeonholed, like
Right.
just to one
Yeah.
one genre, one style of something. Which not to hate on any genre in specific, nothing like that. But yeah, just it's cool to add flavor, to get different influences and whatnot. Like Kevin listens to heavy stuff. Man, Skylar listens to pretty heavy stuff too, but I feel like I want to say he's more from like the Swancore kind of era of stuff. He's like produced for a lot of bands like that. He used to be in Lilac Kings back in the day, so he like draws from that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then, man,
He's got a really wide range, I think, in terms
Yeah.
of his influences are pretty wide ranged.
Oh yeah, and plus he records like pop bands and does all kinds of different.
Yeah.
Just a bunch
He's
of
recording
different
all
his
genres,
broad,
like
for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then like kind of like the shift, when people think of these OKC bands or Oklahoma bands, obviously a lot of people think of like, especially right now, Ben Quad and Red Sun doing like this fifth wave emo, or twinkly emo, depending on how you want to classify it. And we also have like Tolu, we have Limp Wizards in there, kind of doing some of that stuff. So we more see more of that side of emo rather than like this post-hardcore side of emo coming out of this scene. How is it with you guys? Because obviously we talked about you guys playing that house show with Ben Quad, right at like after pandemic or like early stages of coming back from pandemic. But how is it with like this? Is there like a post-hardcore scene that people don't know about that we should know about?
I would say not really. I think I mean not that I've like noticed. It's all kind of just one big broad overarching emo scene, I think, because
I think emo is like the one word that kind of connects most of it together.
Yeah.
Right. It's
because like we have a pretty decent like shoegaze like scene here too, and like I even want to say that's sort of lumped in. Like it's a little different. We have like Downward, Money, like Mad Honey, indie shoegaze kind of bands, and I guess I don't know, maybe I'd call them emo, but like we
Maybe
all
not
feel
emo,
pretty connected, and like usually we all just go back to the same blanket term, emo. But we're all pretty much in that same community, I think. But I don't think there's like a post-hardcore sub.
Yeah, it's
sect.
It's funny. I don't know, like because we have like we definitely have a lot of post-hardcore elements in our songs.
Yeah.
But like I don't know. I don't know if I don't know. I don't know if like we kind of are as close to like a lot of bands, genres that identify as post-hardcore. I don't know. But I think it's cool that we have such a we kind of have like some emo, some post-hardcore, some just like hard rock. Like, it's kind of a weird like blend of stuff. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like that the scene is relatively like blended together a bit. I think that just the community aspect of it, like prioritizing that and making it sort of a bigger circles within circles, is like really cool. And I feel like that's been happening more and more. Like as Oklahoma develops as a scene, I feel like you get more and more overlap, which is nice.
Yeah, like we like speaking of like Red Sun and like Tolu and them, when we play shows with those guys fairly, I don't say regularly. It's not like an every week thing, of course, but yeah, we play with all these guys, and we played like we'll be the one post-hardcore kind of band on like an emo bill, and then for the shoegaze shows we'll be like the post-hardcore band, the most emo band out of that bill. So it's like we're somewhere kind of in between, but like the shoegaze bands know the emo bands, and everybody's kind of friends, and we all go to each other's shows, and it's just it's all just one big conglomerate of music nerds, if you will. So
yeah.
And I think that's the one thing I've loved about talking to everyone from the Oklahoma scene is just how interconnected and like cool with everyone is. Like obviously I've had like Red Sun, Tolu, Limp Wizards, Ben Quad. I've had all these dudes on.
Yeah.
And like they all kind of just talk about like how amazing the scene is and watching it grow. So it's nice to see that like it's not just like, oh, like you guys are more on this side of the spectrum. Like you can play with us on this show, but like you got to go play with your own style on these ones because like as much as you want every scene to be so integrated, I feel like there's still those towns where it's like, oh, this is more of like a heavier hardcore show, or this is more like softer. But it's nice to see. I really love mixed bills and just like watching shit get like watching the pop punk kids that don't normally go to like heavy stuff like experience it and like go all out for it, and then on the other spectrum just like see it the same way with hardcore kids just like bopping and vibing to like some really good like just chill emo stuff.
Yeah,
Dude,
man.
for sure.
It's heartwarming.
We played a show with or no, sorry, I guess I went to a show where Sunfo, but my other band played a show with Sunfo. It was at this place called the Sanctuary here in Oklahoma City, and it's like the Sanctuary is known for being more of like a hardcore like metal kind of venue. With all the crowd killing, with all the fun beating each other up stuff. God, it sounds like I've never been to a hardcore show. But anyway, so
whatever they're doing.
So we were there, and one of the guys from this band Ritual, which is like an alt rock, kind of like heavy-ish sort of band. Like they're not like quite a hardcore band, but they were geeking over Sunfo. I was just chatting with one of their members, AJ, and he was like, "Dude, you know Sunfo? They're fucking playing. Are you serious? That's so sick." And I'm like, "Yeah, what? You've got like a Jesus piece shirt on or something, and you fucking Sunfo? That's awesome. Like that's awesome,
Yeah,
and Sunfo,
yeah,
dudes, good dudes.
Yeah, I was just gonna say like the kind of oh man, I forgot what I was gonna say. Shoot. Sorry.
If it comes back to you, let me know. But that happens to me like all the time.
We were talking about like the scene.
Hardcore bands.
Yeah, hardcore bands. Midwest emo. I don't know. It's just cool. It's all very cool. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Oklahoma. The fact that the scene is kind of it's kind of like Oklahoma City has not been known necessarily for being like the hottest music spot. If like if you go back like 10, 20, 30 years, not really.
Yeah.
Like usually, even though we're dead center in the country, usually it's kind of a flyover state. Like not a lot. We wouldn't get a ton of bands here compared to like bigger cities and stuff. But like in the past 5 or 6 years, like seeing it grow and stuff, I think that like it's super, super exciting being from here and getting to experience that. So it also makes us all more integrated because we're all so excited about it. And it makes us all kind of want to be a part of it and to help, Whereas I think with much, much bigger cities where it's a lot more complex and there's already multiple scenes, it can just be kind of crazy. But I think we kind of have the cool moment right now where it's like it's getting bigger and we're getting
small enough in a way.
Yeah,
we're still close enough.
Yeah, it's like we're all kind of getting to experience it together, and it's really cool.
Dude, for sure.
Really cool.
Like I know I already said it earlier, but like getting to watch like my friends in these bands just do what they're doing. Like Quinn from Red Sun, like he plays another band and he's here at like my house like often, and he's just like my buddy. And then the fact that he's doing Red Sun and like that's doing what it's doing is like so cool to see, and that dude's just so stoked. And like I don't know, a good egg, as me and my girlfriend called him. And then
I know.
And then same with like Ben Quad. Like getting to play like shows at like a VFW to 15 people with those guys to watch them. Like I don't know, I got to see them at Emos in Austin, which I know that's not Oklahoma, but like just getting to see your homies from Oklahoma play like a sold out show in Austin, Texas with Hot Mulligan. It's just like, I don't know, it's cool. It's pretty, man. Short version, it's awesome to see your friends doing well and being so cool and good people. So,
yeah. Inspiring. And I think we talked about it on the Red Sun episode, but like with Ben Quad, this is like the Ben Quad segment. I feel like it comes up every time I talk to an Oklahoma band, but like with them, but like getting to see them on that stage with Hot Mulligan, because I got to see them when they came through Minneapolis, and I got to talk to them afterwards because that was the first time we had actually met in person, and it's nice to see such good, genuine people get that push and rise, because it has not gone to their heads. They're still like just chill, nice dudes, no matter what, that's the best part.
100%. I would say like, yeah, I'll like still even just text Ed about whatever, and he'll just send back yeah or something silly. It's still Ed. You know what I mean? Like they're still the same dudes. So yeah, it's really cool.
That's
Really
pretty
cool
sick.
to see. Pretty sick.
But to get back into King Pink, I think it was on April 9th, and I could be wrong. It's been basically about a month since the release of your second EP, Timelines. It's you since the first EP, you have released a few singles. Granted, there are a number of singles that were part of this release, but how does it feel to have Timelines, the EP in its entirety, out for the world? Like, how's it been?
It feels good for me personally. Like I feel like we've kind of had these songs like I don't know burning for a while, and so it feels like obviously we released the songs, but it feels like such a release and like just to get these out. I feel like we've had them for a while, like I said, and they just personally mean a lot to me. It's subject matter that I've written about before, but it's subject matter that really just like hits home for me on another level, of course. And then so to be able to get that out and to be able to play these songs for people now too, and to be able to just let that out feels freaking awesome. And people have been stoked on it too, and that makes me happy. But yeah, sorry, excuse me. I don't know, you're gonna.
No, yeah, I totally agree. It's been super cathartic. It's felt really good. I think because we started I don't know. We've had these songs, especially specifically timelines. We've had timelines for so long, and we sort of pieced together this EP, and like we wrote the songs, and like it's just been such a it just took a long time to finally get around to being able to release it. So I think when we finally did get to do that, it was just like it had been building up, this whole time. Like I felt like when you spend so much time with a project, it's almost like the pressure of it gets more and more intense as time goes on because of how much time you're spending on it or how long it's taking. So when we finally did get it out, I was just like, oh my god, like it's actually on Spotify. You can listen to these songs on Spotify. This is insane. Like, and that's why I think Timelines felt like such an appropriate name for it too, because the subject matter in it, and the themes that it's dealing with, Timelines is pretty apt for that. But also, it just took the timeline of it is crazy. Like so, or it feels crazy. I'm sure like it's not that crazy in the grand scheme of things, but it feels crazy to me. I think especially because Timelines was written almost before the band even existed, so it's just wild.
I would say, like, to add to what you're saying about that, to me, it's like it has come full circle, which to me makes sense why it's the ender of the album,
Right.
And I think because that song came from basically the beginning of the early stages of this band, and then all the other songs we've like, at least you and I, like Dylan and I, have worked on these songs off and on for 4 to 5 years, and well, off and on, and so they've all just kind of come to us, or we've solidified these songs, like Erasers, I think was like 2 years ago or something. We had that locked, and then like Liquid Hell was like in the last year and a half, and so they'll come from different times of the development of the band. So it's like
exactly
timelines just weird and
cool. It's very interesting and very cathartic and super cool. Like I don't know. It's just because I don't love that it took that long, but at the same time, like, oh, sorry, well, it just, like, I guess it didn't take that long as a release, like we had a plan, we made it happen, but just, pulling from songs that were written so long ago and stuff, and finally making it something that reflects who we are as people now, and, because we didn't like, some of the parts on it, like the lead guitar part on Timelines was written like a few days before we recorded it. And I feel like that changed the whole mood of the song. Like it was just like, it's sort of like, it was just like, oh, now it feels like how I feel now, kind of. if that makes any sense. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. Even though it's still the same song. Yeah, it's just wild. I don't know. But I'm also really, really excited to turn around and do something else too. Since because it has been such a long time coming. It's good. It's really exciting to be like, now we can finally close that chapter for good. New thing, you know. I'm really stoked. I'm really, really stoked. But it feels so good to play the songs too, like you said, like being able to actually like get up there and be like, oh, here are these songs, man. Like finally we're able to like we could play the whole EP front to back if we wanted to. Yeah, it's crazy. For sure. Well, we haven't played Eraser live yet, so
we gotta do that soon.
Yeah. Once we're able to play that live, we can play the whole EP front to back, which would be pretty sick.
Once we learn our song, we got you guys.
Just one, just Eraser.
We got this. It's 3/4. It's all D minor, so we'll figure it
out. But to bounce off what you were saying, Dylan, like it's crazy that they've lasted this long and made it to this point. When yes, it could have like with Eraser, how you guys said that was like almost 2 years in the making to get from the initial stages or whatever to now. When anyone, how do I want to word this? When anyone's working on music, usually whatever they're working on is where they're at in their life at that point in time. So to bring it to now and still be like, okay, it still kind of works and it still is doing this, or like when you tweak that one spot in timelines and it makes more sense now than it did and fits better now than you thought it would. Like those are big accomplishments to be able to do rather than just putting out an album and just being like, yeah, we weren't banking on these songs, but we just need to put something out. Because you want to see that progression in your favorite artists and keep growing. You don't want to listen to them talking about like high school problems all the time. Like I give like you don't want to listen to Newfound Glory just talk about the same like 19-year-old chick that didn't want to hang out or whatever for no reason. But, like, it's cool to see that progression and keep it going, but to be able to take those and like actually work them to fit now and still like be relevant is amazing. Because I, listening to this, I would not have assumed one that Timelines was 5+ years old in the making, and like it all sounds good and cohesive listening through this record.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's good. That's awesome.
That's crazy. I'm so glad. Yeah. Oh my god. I don't know how we did it. Yeah.
And honestly, I think, man, it was weird. I'm not gonna lie, it was weird kind of going back to Timelines in a way, just for me, like as far as like the content, like the subject matter, and like having to kind of reprocess some of the emotions for it. Because I mean, the song is essentially about getting away from a very bad relationship that I was in. Like I moved across the country to Pennsylvania to be with this person, and long story short, didn't work out. And then the whole song is about me coming to terms with that, being okay through it all. But it's stuff that I hadn't dealt with in probably at this point 8 years is whenever all of that happened. So writing about it 5-6 years ago, getting that off my chest and then having to come back to it was like kind of felt a little scary. I was like, oh, I mean, I've already processed this. I've already, I've already felt this stuff, and it's like, oh, like I don't want to necessarily feel it again. But then at the same time, it's like it's cathartic in its own way to be able to see where I've come from, or to see how far I've come from that point as far as just processing things emotionally to just just where I'm at in life and just how I take care of myself now to how I didn't back then. Just a lot of different things. So it was pretty scary to revisit it, but I think I don't know, hitting it again and then getting new parts on it from Dylan, and then even like tweaking a couple lines here and there to make it apply to where I'm at now versus where I was 8 years ago. It really helped and like made me feel a lot better about.
It's almost like like we had the song and it was a raw memory, kind of, in multiple ways, and then like and then I sort of finishing writing it finally. It was like we almost like applied a retrospective to it or something, and now it's like there's kind of two layers to it. There's like a really raw kind of like visceral like lyrics, and like immediacy of like that memory for you. But then there's also kind of like the larger theme and like retrospective on it, you know. So it's kind of like two different, you know. There's like us now in there, and you especially then and there.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
It's kind of a lot going on, but it's really cool very cool and like crazy that we can bottle that into one song. It's really wild. That's why his music and art and everything is so cool, because it's like, yeah, it's just it's crazy. It can be so many different things, but yeah, this for us, this record is like super special in that way. I think, you know,
For sure.
pretty wild.
Yeah, and it all does have one like overarching theme. Essentially, it's, I mean, kind of what I was talking about with timelines. You know, getting out of a toxic relationship, and it's essentially me processing everything from being in that relationship and just yeah, just not being okay, not taking care of myself, to the end, to timelines where I finally break away from that, you know, and I finally get to move on, and like I know I'm gonna be okay. It might not be right now, you know, it might be 6 months from now, it might be 6 years, you know,
Yeah.
depending on life and whatnot. But I guess the overall theme is like, you're gonna be okay. You know, it might not look any particular way. You know, it might not look like $1 million and all the weed in the world, or you know what I'm saying. Like, it might not be this like perfect image of like being okay, but you're gonna be okay, essentially, for it. And that's, I think the fact that we were able to do that with a song from so long ago to Filth was like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, Filth was like pretty recent.
Was like, we wrote it 6 months before we dropped it, so we're like, okay, cool, there's that. So
yeah,
but
Filth, Resin, and Liquid Hell were all very kind of newer, right?
Yeah,
versus
we're all, like, within like 8 months of dropping, I'd say 8 months to a year dropping. So
versus like Timelines
and
and Eraser. Yeah, those are the two that were like so crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, pretty interesting.
But yeah, I think how Taylor, like you might have mentioned, you know, using timelines to end off this EP not only like ends off the EP, but it also like kind of ends this chapter of a lot of these stories with this EP and like the overall general from like Tar to now. You know, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but like what's on the horizon for King Pink after this? I know, like Dylan kind of mentioned, you're ready to move on to the next thing and start working on the next thing. Like what's the next thing look like so far?
Man, writing more music.
Yeah,
writing, releasing more music, and trying to tour,
more music,
trying to play more shows.
Yeah, trying to play more shows, man.
Once we get more music out, and once and then getting a van, getting some kind of vehicle, and being able to, like, Oklahoma's amazing. We love Oklahoma. I'm sorry, Mom, I'm never leaving Oklahoma, but like, you know, I love this place, but I want to play here and other places. So I think that's the next step.
Yeah, for sure.
We've got a couple songs we're working on right now, and so we're talking to a couple different bands about like splits and stuff. So we might be doing an acoustic thing at some point this year, like a little one-off, like 2 or 3 song kind of thing, and then might do a couple splits. Short version is just writing, releasing more music, and then trying to tour on it. Really, for me personally, touring is the goal. I just want to get out there and meet more people like yourself, and like, you know, I just want to meet the homies and go and see these other cities and rip some rock and roll gigs.
Yeah, man.
So, you know,
yeah,
that's where I'm at.
That's the goal, man. That's what we're here to do, for sure. Definitely. Yeah, I think it'll be really kind of cool to see like what comes out next. You know, some of the songs are like pretty different, but also kind of, you know, still King Pink. So it still has that King Pink thing, you know. So it's gonna be really cool to see kind of what happens, and I'm really excited to do some splits. Like that'll be really fun, dude. Yes, I've never done a split with anybody. That's crazy. I want to do that.
I think same actually, which honestly makes me a little more stoked, because like, I don't know, I like doing things with my friends, and so the bands we're talking to are friends of ours. So it'll just be cool to do something, push their music as well as ours, you know.
Collaboration.
Getting to collaborate and just create something special with more friends.
Yeah.
Which, it's really just a big reason why I want to do that. Why we started to get, no, you're good. To get the ball rolling on doing splits and stuff.
I did want to mention, to bounce off of something you had just mentioned, with the whole maybe doing a little acoustic 2 or 3 songs for people that have listened to this EP. I know a lot of you will probably agree with me. Liquid Hell is probably my favorite song off this EP, and you do an acoustic version of it that is recorded and it's out on YouTube. And I think I fell in love with the song like even more with the acoustic version. Like it's done so well. Obviously, shout out to Kevin for being able to help record a lot of that stuff. But like it's done so well, and like it just added so much more to that song. Like I can't wait to see what other songs you might have up your wheelhouse to do acoustically.
Right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
That's cool.
man. Thank you for sure. That was I won't lie, that was kind of a spur of the moment sort of thing. Like Kevin came down, it was like his brother was like in the hospital or something. So our drummer lives in Seattle. And he's from here, and so his family's here. And so he'll like fly in to like check, to visit family and whatnot, and like practice with us or do whatever. But he happened to be in town because his brother was in the hospital for something, which he's okay. All that's good. But we were just hanging out. We'd done like a live, like in studio kind of session with Skylar, at his studio, and Kevin like filmed it. And then at the end of it, we were all just drinking mezcal and I think Coors Banquets. So we were like trash. And Kev was like, "Hey, get your acoustic." And I was like, "It's not here." He's like, "All right, fine." So like,
Find an acoustic.
Yeah, we're like, so we're at I guess the Sunfo house is where like Skylar records at. Like he like lives with Sunfo dudes, and he's in Sunfo, so yeah. But we're there at their house and just chilling. So I just grabbed Cameron Telford's guitar, his acoustic, just tuned it to standard.
It was not in standard.
Yeah, they play open.
Why would they be?
Midwest emo. And so I was just like, what song do you want me to do, Kev? And he was like, just do Liquid Hell. I was like, okay. And so we just did that, and then there it is. There it is. We did like 2 other takes, and I just started laughing through the whole thing. So I'm glad we got that one out. And so it was just it was fine. I'm glad we did that. So
and then I love that he left in at the very end. Once you finish the song, you're like, "Is that okay?" Like it's like in there for like that half a second, but at the same time, like after listening to the song and like you've heard it for quite a while, like, and because you just you get done with the lines of like, "I'm feeling okay." Like why would I lie about that? Basically, to going to, "Is that okay?" Like it worked so well to go along with the song, and I was like, that like worked out perfectly. Like that's ties in.
dude, that's awesome. I was like, in my head, I was like, maybe I fucked up or something, or I don't know. Like, I literally was like, was that a good take? Is that okay? Like, and then Kevin just gave me the, and I was like, all right, cool, we're good. All right. Dude, yeah, when he left that in, I remember like kind of giggling to myself, but I was like, oh, okay, cool, let's go. I just, yeah, dude, that makes me happy you like that. That's funny.
I also liked all the other videos that are out there too, not to just single that one out, because you have currently videos out for Resin, Filth, Eraser. I think no, Eraser doesn't have one yet. Pretty much every other song has one, and like I started at like the earliest one, which I'm going to blank on. I think it was for Filth. Is that the one where you're carrying the body to the? Yeah. Like I start with that one. That one. Like the shot, the lighting, everything just feels like it's like from I can't think of the director's name, but like from like an 80s movie almost, and like it works so well, and like it's a little funny in there, but all the videos come out super well.
Oh, thank you, man.
Dude, yeah, thank you.
I mean that one. So the Filth video was Kevin, and I mean that like that one was definitely like his, like he had like that he had that idea. He had that. He saw it. Right?
Can I jump in?
Oh,
so I'm always going to give the credit where the credit's due. So I came up with that idea.
Oh, okay.
Literally. So 9 times out of 10, it's all Kevin, right? I mean, it
He's like,
still
wait,
was. I literally just, all I said was, hey, how about we do a music video, one shot, one take, no camera moving? And he was like, I like that, Taylor. I actually like that. And then he like built upon it from
He was
there.
like, hang on.
But like,
Okay.
yeah. So literally, it was just the one shot idea that I presented, and then from there,
But it does have that vibe, right? Like that sort of like old movie vibe. Like he kind of
which is his thing.
He's a freaking wizard, man. It was so much fun to shoot. Yeah, we went out to like Lake. What was it?
Is it Sooner
Lake or something?
in Norman, Oklahoma?
I think so. But we just found like an old like road that wasn't being used, like a dirt road, that was like aesthetically.
So it wasn't being used, or so it was, but it was like it's not a very well traveled road, I guess. Like it's not the busiest road. Short version, I guess, what I'm trying to get to. We, aside from the occasional car that would drive through, or we'd have to do a retake or something, there were horse riding like groups.
I think it was part of the horse riding like
trail.
Circle. Yeah.
And I remember it was like 2 times where they came through, and it's me and Kevin standing by the body, which is just like clothes that we stuck with pillows and paper bags and then wrapped in a plastic bag. And there was like 2 times where these like horse groups go by, and there's like kids, and they're like everybody's like staring.
They're just staring at us.
Yeah, and
we're just like, "What's up?"
Promise, there's nothing bad going on. It's a music video. We're in an emo band. Not worth explaining.
It's art.
We're in a band. Yeah,
it's fine.
We're
not killing somebody. It's okay. But yeah, just people on horses. It was crazy.
Yeah, we got some looks for sure. But so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, just getting to do stuff like that with Kevin when he's got he's got it in his head, he's like, and then we just do it. We find the spot and we make it happen. It's just really fun, man. It's like a lot of fun. It's really, really cool and special, I think, to get to do that. Yeah, it's really cool. But yeah, that one was fun. That one was really silly. Yeah.
I at any time in that music video, if you see me fall, that is not me acting. So my knees hurt at the end of that. I was like, oh, okay, there's the graph. Okay.
And then, I said that there wasn't one for Eraser yet. Is there plans in something up the sleeves for Eraser at some point in the near future?
Nothing solid. A buddy of ours, and I won't drop names, but a buddy of ours from another band in Missouri reached out to us and was like, hey, I want to do a music video for you guys for this song. And so that's the extent of that. We kind of got the message. We messaged back. And we're like, we're down, and then haven't heard anything. But we're still kind of like, I'm still talking to a buddy about doing like some kind of music video, even if it's just like a me kind of thing, just sitting in a room being sad or something, But I would like to get something out. But we'll see.
Yeah, we did talk about trying to get a video out for every song on the EP.
Yeah.
And we'll still try to make that happen, probably. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
But I'm stoked to see what it ends up being. But I also like that, even though, there's that underlying theme throughout the EP. All the videos kind of have their own thing going on. Like they're not tied in, which makes them like they're kind of like their own mini movies or whatever. And I also like that, where you could have obviously had like a big story arc throughout the whole thing, but to have them all separate and with like we were saying with like Filth, where it's just that scene where one shot scene putting a body into that vehicle, like just those like off things that you listen to the song but you don't anticipate that's going to be the video, just makes it that much cooler to watch it.
Heck yeah. Yeah. I mean, not that it was necessarily intentional, I guess, to have them all be a separate story or something, but I kind of liked that. Like while the songs do have that overarching theme, like, I don't know, I feel like it's more interesting.
Yeah,
or just more fun to have each song be their own different movie. And Kevin, big movie buff, as well as yourself. Like, you do film stuff with music imagery. And so
I'm not really a huge movie buff, but I think I have so many friends who are like so into it and so knowledgeable about movies that I kind of am a little bit, but I don't have the same like affinity. But Yeah, man, I agree with you completely. And like I think we did maybe whenever we had early when we were talking about this record and how it would be put together. I think we had ideas for making music videos for every song, making them all be like one whole like short film.
We talked about that, yeah.
But like, you know, it like I don't know, I think that just picking like an idea and just something that's relatively doable, like that you can execute in like a short amount of time, and it can be self-contained, and it maybe it's not the most like narratively dense thing, but as long as it's like interesting and it's artistic, it's creative, like
Fun.
and fun.
I was gonna say, I think
Yeah,
fun was a
and
big
fun,
part for
and that's
sure.
really what we're looking for. So we kind of ditched that pretty quick, just so we could like try some stuff, because I think that for us, like, the end of the day, we just kind of were trying to figure out how to make all of this art between the four of us when we're all so busy, and we're all have our own lives. It's pretty tough sometimes. The other bands, just everything, as you get older, the more that accumulates, and it gets very difficult. So just just cutting straight to the what point? What's the saying? Straight to the bat.
Straight to the chase.
Straight to the chase.
Yeah.
One of those things, yeah. Cutting whatever. Just getting to do it at all is really cool. So a lot of times you kind of just you just pick like what is going to work out. Like, let's just make this happen, and just put whatever we can into it, So yeah, we'll see if we get some more videos going for those. See, for sure, dude. That'd be cool. That would feel really good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm stoked to see what ends up happening, whether there's one out or not. But I'm also just stoked to see what the next like chapter of King Pink is going to be after this store closes or this book closes on timelines. I'm honestly really stoked just to see what's coming next, because it's been great listening to this. Even the self-titled was great listening. Was great to listen to. Like I just love what you guys are doing, and I'm really stoked on it.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that a lot. That's super nice to hear. I'm stoked too. It'll be fun. We'll see what happens. Yeah.
I hope it's fun. So
hopefully it's
getting
fun.
tired of you. So
we'll see. It might be pretty contentious.
I'm really excited for it. I feel like now, like, just as a band, I'm not saying we've covered a bunch of different genres per se, but like we've covered a lot of ground as a band. Like, we played some like heavier songs with like breakdowns, then we played like softer, like pretty songs, if you will. And so like I feel like, not to sound like Lil Wayne like 10 years ago, but no feelings,
No feelings,
I feel like we can kind of do what we want from here on out. I mean, we always could, but I just feel like we've established ourselves as a band that can kind of do the hard rock thing, can kind of do the soft emo thing, and for me as a creative person, like, not being so pigeonholed and limited, like, I'm stoked for that. So I think we'll be able to create just some good music, whatever that ends up sounding like, whether we become a folk punk band or, or whatever. I don't think we will, but, whatever the case, I don't know, I feel very creatively free and, like, just good.
Yeah.
Especially the new songs we're writing to, like, yeah, it feels good.
Super cathartic to work on new stuff. Super cathartic. Super cathartic. Incredible. It is pretty feels very freeing for sure, even though like I haven't you're kind of coming up with these ideas, and like I'm kind of sort of jamming on them and kind of processing them, and kind of like it's still in early stages, but it feels so like exciting already. It's really cool.
Hell yeah. No, that's awesome to hear. Like, it's always fun to hear people be like stoked on what they're gonna be putting out, because it makes me more stoked to like listen to it. Because you could take the time and be like, we got to put something out and just kind of whip something together. But like, when you know someone's like stoked on what they're gonna possibly be putting out, like, you just know it's gonna be fucking hard as shit and like good.
Let's go. I really need to stop doing this, by the way. I do this like I get stoked and it started as like a sarcastic thing, but now it's just like I'm like, yeah, sure thing, Mom, if I'm helping her with the groceries. I got you. And she's like, all right, Taylor, yeah, I got you. Yeah, let's go. Rock and roll. Sorry.
Bro.
That's got to be on a shirt at some point now, right?
Honestly, it does. It does. Ooh, I'll pay for it. Don't worry, I got you.
Before we start to transition, I know we've kind of jumped around a lot. We talked about like the Oklahoma City scene. We talked about timelines. We talked about King Pink. But is there anything that I missed between timelines or King Pink that you want the people to know about?
King Pink in general or timelines? We're nice dudes. I don't know. Man, I'm trying to think.
I can't think of anything really. I mean,
just
come
talk to us. We might be nervous to come talk to, if you see us at a show or anything. There are times where we might seem, or I'm not going to speak for anybody else, but where I might seem very confident socially, but I get really anxious at shows. So if you ever just see me at a show and I don't seem very social, not because I don't want to be there, I just don't know how to start the conversation. So if anyone wants to say hi to me, feel free, come say what's up. I'll probably say and like a lot, but I'll chat with you. I want to make friends. I'm just scared. So
I feel the same way. I feel the same way. I mean, it's just like, I think that's one of the coolest things about being in a band is getting to meet people and talk to people. Yeah. And it's unfortunate that like social anxiety usually can stifle that, Yeah, I experience it too. Like it's an unfortunate thing, I guess, But yeah, man, that's literally like pretty much the main reason we do this. So right. Yeah. I do want to make friends. I do want to talk to people, it's just this weird, like, you know how it is.
Yeah, I totally feel that. I'm the exact same way. Like I went to a show on Sunday because there were some people in town that I wanted to go catch, and like I said hi to them like when I got there, and then like I kind of just went off and like sat like on my like own little corner and like talked to them like every once in a while, but like I was just like, hey, and then someone came up to me and they're like, are you so and so? And I'm like, oh fuck, like you came up to me, like I gotta talk now. Like I was like, yeah, that's me. You're this person. Yeah. But yeah, I'm also very terrible with it. Which is really surprising to some people, because I sit here and I talk with people, put out these episodes and they're like, and you still do this in person? I'm like, oh dude, for sure. Like I will not talk to anyone when I get somewhere.
No, for sure. It's different. Like it's different doing it on like through a phone or like a computer, like with there being a screen, with there being that barrier. And then whenever you're in that room with them, it's like, oh, this is real. It's like, oh, we're really here. You're gonna hear all my little sniffles, all my stuff. You're gonna see me like take at my nails a bunch, and you're gonna think I'm weird. Like I'll just like right now this is off screen. So I'm over here just like so
I was doing the same thing.
Okay, word say, yeah, you did it, yeah. See, yeah, no, like I'm all about making friends. I love all that, but I'm so scared to be like, hi, I'm so and so,
Yeah, just initiating that conversation. It's crazy. Oh,
yeah. So yeah, if you've learned anything from this episode or this part right now, just walk up to us and just say hi. If you see King Pink at a show or you see me at a show, just say something. And pray for the best. But it'll be fine. Sure. But we're everyone, please go listen to Timelines. Timelines fucking rules. And we'll talk links here in a little bit. But as we start to transition, this is obviously Beers with Bands. You don't have to be drinking on these episodes because I would definitely do that for you. But I know you two have a couple beverages in front of you on this fine Tuesday. What are you all drinking tonight?
Man, I got 2 cans of PBR. I like to drink 2 at the same time. I kind of like switch between them. And then I've got a Starbucks cup filled with water. Because I like to stay hydrated, Yeah.
So not to copy Dylan, but I also have two PBRs.
This mother, he just copies me.
And I'm not gonna lie, I've also got some El Pimador tequila on the side because tequila is my weakness. No joke. If you see me at a bar, and whether you want to buy me a tequila shot or you want me to buy you a tequila shot, just bring up tequila. There's a good chance we'll both leave the bar with a shot of tequila. Unless you have to drive home.
Involved, he's
For the record, if you have to drive home, maybe not. There might be water in that shot glass, but
Yeah, but for sure, buy Taylor a shot of tequila if you have to drive home, and then you get water, but Taylor gets tequila.
Yep.
Yeah.
And a ride home. And I get a ride. So
Yeah.
You pointed at me.
I did point at
I'm
him.
going to drive you home.
And this week's episode, I have Coors Banquets on hand because I got to get these out of the fridge. But I have it. I think it equals a little bit more than two because there's a few here.
Let's go. It's funny. That's actually what I was about to get. I was about to get I think 2 6-packs or a 12-pack. I was about to get a bunch of Coors Banquets, and then they had these PBR on sale at the liquor store I was at. So I was like,
nice.
$8 for it was 8 and some change for 12 tall boys. Yeah, done.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's a steal. Any day.
Everybody likes PBR. $7 for this, so
can't go wrong, man.
Can't go wrong.
My fridge the last few weeks has been just a weird mix of stuff. I've had Coors Banquets, Hams, Colt 45, Modelo's, a couple hard iced teas, and I think I have one PBR tall boy left in the fridge. It's just been kind of moving as I've tried to finish everything else.
No joke. Nice. That was the first one of the 2 that I have. That was literally sitting in my fridge for last week, and I was like, I can't just have one, So yeah, and I was like, all right, fine, I'll fucking open it. So here we are.
That's really
Isn't that on the Red Sun episode? Did y'all drink Hams? Is that right?
No, I feel like I had Hams. I think they had PBRs, and I want to say, oh no, it might have been Tolu that had Bud Lights. But I think Red Sun had. Yeah, I think Red Sun had PBRs, and I had Hams that night.
Okay, that's right. I thought about getting Hams too because of that episode. Because I remember you cracking it open, and I was like, "That might be the move." And then thought about the Coors, and then the deal on the PBR. I was like, So
I'm more of a PBR guy at heart. I've within the last year started opening my mind a little bit more up to Hams because Hams PBR, that's a big battle for some people.
For sure.
And I'll always die on the PBR hill if it's got to be between the 2.
Yeah, no, same. But yeah, I've been going to shows since I don't know, 2008, 2009, and PBR was the staple then. So just kind of carry it through. So I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah, it is great.
The first beer I ever had, so why not? I like it. So.
I'm not the biggest beer person, but PBR is great. PBR, it's it just feels I'm oh, I know I like PBR. That's gonna be good, There's nothing higher.
It's the best cheap beer. At the end of the day,
it's not. It's easy enough to drink on, but it's not just piss water. For lack of better phrasing. It's was it 5.3% or something? So it's not super super strong like some IPA or porter or something or other, and it's also not 4%. I don't know. It's got a little more oomph to it, and it's still easy to drink on. And it's just a classic. It's a staple for me personally. So.
And I've said, for all the IPA drinkers, the hoppy drinkers that are oh, light beer has no flavor, or cheap beer has no flavor. Drink PBR. It's got plenty of flavor, and it's not just dog shit. You can drink an IPA and have that shitty aftertaste. Drink a PBR. No shitty aftertaste. Just good times.
Yep. Absolutely. It's funny. I used to be such an IPA.
Oh my God,
I used to be such a beer snob. I think at one point, and I would I only drink stouts, porters, and IPAs, and I like them. You know what I mean at the time. But then just like, I don't know, maybe after like a few years, I was just like, well, this is a lot to drink. You know, I just want to have a couple of beers with my friends, not spend $20 on like a 6-pack, you know, and just like enjoy myself and not feel like absolute shit, you know.
Yeah, not drink a full meal with every can.
Do what?
Like when you drink like a stout and it's basically like a full meal because it's like so heavy at the same time.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Our it's funny. Our drummer Kevin, his favorite beer is it's a local beer from here in Oklahoma. It's by Prairie Artisan Ales. It's called the Prairie Bomb, and it is like the thickest, most like loaded down stout. It's like 14 something percent, like 14.3 or something, and it's got like coffee notes, chocolate, some kind of like I don't know if it's peppermint spices or what, but it's got a lot going on in it.
It's actually pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good.
But like that's
it's
a lot of
heavy.
beer.
It's heavy, man.
And they don't sell them in packs; they sell them as individuals too. So let's like you were saying, a full meal, like that's like a 4-course meal and like one beer for sure.
Yeah, a couple shots.
Yeah, and a couple shots along with it. Like it's yeah.
Jeez.
But yeah, still great beer though.
It's really good. It's really good.
Just a lot.
Man. Well, you know, that's the little beer segment for this episode. You know, I gotta do those to keep the beers in the name of beers with bands. For some people.
Yeah.
You know, because they're like, I've had some people that are like, oh, I thought we were gonna like have like a full on discourse about beers, and I'm like, no, it's just the name. We're just here to have it. We're just drinking. It's fine.
Yeah, we're drinking and talking about music, band stuff. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like the whole reasoning for the name was like me and my friend that originally created the podcast. We toured together and we would always hear our own stories. We would like tell each other our own stories, and I'm like, Brian, I was in the van. I sat 5 inches from you. Like I was there for this. And you know, then we would think back to like, oh, you know, because we were always drinking when we were telling these stories. So it's like you want to have those fun moments talking with your friends, because that's what we do is we would just drink, talk to our friends about like what they're doing in their music, and then we would just reminisce about stories. And you know, that's how this is my segue to the last half of this episode. You know, that's why we talked about some fun stories on these episodes, whether it's you know, shows, tours, time recording, music videos, all that fun stuff. You know, the way I like to think about it is like think about like the fun stories you always reminisce about with your friends. Those are usually the best stories that everyone loves to hear. And you know, yeah, I had a train of thought, but basically, yeah, this is where we just kind of talk about some fun stories.
Yeah, I'm down, dude. We have been on, how many tours have we done so far? We've done 2.
We've
Just
done
2, like
we've done 3 total.
oh, okay.
We did so we've done 2 with Sunfo. I think it was March of 2021. We did it was either 2021 or 2022, maybe 22. We did like a 5-day run with Sunfo up to like we did like Wichita, Kansas. I think we did Kansas City. So then we did Lincoln, Nebraska. Then came back down, hit Springfield, and I think we played Tulsa in the middle of that. It was like the first Margarita Fest. I think we played on that, maybe, or maybe I'm mixing that up. But we did that run with Sunfo then, and then it was the end of 2022. We did a run with this band Thieverist from Tulsa. It's like an indie alt rock kind of band. And we did a run with them up to kind of like the same spots. Like we did like Kansas City, we did Omaha, Nebraska, and a couple of other like spots around there. And then we just did this last run, you know, like a month or so ago with Sunfo, our longest, biggest run yet.
I'm trying to think of some like
awesome.
Oh, it was so sick.
So
it was awesome,
so
dude.
cool,
I cannot believe they're just. I feel so like it's so cool getting to like do that with them and with you.
Yeah.
I mean, you too, but like them as well. Like you guys are they're just super talented people, super passionate, and it's so much fun being around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
they're fun.
Yeah, so
for sure.
Oh my god. Do you have any good stories from tour? Like, or just anything? What are some fun stories pop into your head?
Can I talk about hallucinogens on this?
Yeah, I mean, you're free to talk about whatever you would like.
Okay.
Also, if you haven't checked out for other Oklahoma people, if you haven't checked out the Limp Wizards episode, there's some fucking crazy ass stories that they told in that episode too. Also, if you can see it over my shoulder, I do have the Limp Wizards mascot plushie.
Oh yeah, he's right there.
Yeah, the little dude.
Oh my god,
that's awesome.
Holy shit, that's so sick.
That's fucking. That's great.
That's so sick.
I'm gonna text Rod about that. Like, so they're homies of ours.
Yeah, I haven't
so
seen our episode yet. I gotta watch
Rod.
that. That's
I'm
sick,
like, dude. That's.
I bet that was a blast.
Yeah,
it was a fun time. Rod actually wasn't on the episode. He, I think, had to work.
Oh, okay.
But it just reminds me, I gotta message them back. They're gonna be coming back on because they just released their new EP. Like within the last couple days. So I know we're coming back on. They're gonna come back on. I told them the one stipulation is that Rod has to come on the episode this time since he wasn't on the first time.
Heck yeah,
dude, that's awesome. Like, for the Liquid Hell music video, or the acoustic video. Sorry, Rod was there the whole time. Like, he was one of the drinking buddies. We were all just like getting shitter with him. So he was just in the background, like pounding a chord thing with like, all right, Taylor, just yeah. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Man, hallucinogens.
Oh, did you have was there a specific story? What did you?
So on the way, the last night of the tour, we played with Trash from Springfield, Missouri.
Oh,
and that was our last show, which is like, Springfield's like 4.5, 5 hours from Oklahoma City. So we were like, it's been 9 days. Let's just drive straight home that night. Everybody was so tired and just like done for. And so Cameron Telford from Sunfo was like, I'll drive, I'll get us home. And he's like, but I need a co-pilot to stay with me all night. And I was like, I got you. Let's go, And so he was like, can you stay up? And I was like, you know what? I'm going to take this 1.5 grams of shrooms and stay up with you. And so,
I mean, that's a pretty good idea in theory.
Right, in theory.
It'll keep you up for sure. And like, I've never done hallucinogen, so it keeps you up, right? Like,
yeah.
Okay. It's a good plan, right?
For sure.
I mean, you got
Right. I got some time. And so I was like, this is a good idea. I'm pumped up. I had been drinking that show because Derek from Trash wanted to go goblin mode. So I was like, I'm going to do some tequila shots with you, So I've been feeling it. And I was like, fuck it. I'm going to stay up. And I'd never done this many mushrooms before, right? I'd done like maybe a 0.5 gram, a little bit just to kind of have a cool Saturday afternoon or something. You know what I mean? But I was like, 1.5 grams. Let's go. Let's do 3 times the amount I normally do. So we're like 2 hours from home, and it's hitting me, right? And we were talking about, like, I forgot exactly what Cameron and I were talking about, but we were talking about something that was just not very serious. And then it started hitting me, and I started getting real deep about everything. And he was like, you feeling it, buddy? You feeling it? And I was like, dude, I'm feeling something. Kept pushing my hair, like my hand back through my hair, like, yeah, dude, I'm just riding the wave or something to that effect. And he's like, okay, all right. And then short version, I end up kind of just getting a little anxious, starting to feel it a little much. And then he's, and I'm supposed to be his co-pilot, his navigator, keeping him up and keeping him like, just awake and in a good mood or whatever, keeping focused. And the whole time he's having to babysit me because I'm kind of freaking out on mushrooms. And I'm just like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm going to be okay. I'm going to throw up. He's like, get a plastic bag. Just hold it. You're going to be okay. Let me turn off the music for you. And he was like my mushroom guru for like 2 hours, calming my ass down. And so, yeah, basically the whole time I just kept being like, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I just kept being, I'm sorry. I'm just feeling it, And he was like, dude, it's okay. Stop being sorry. You're chill, man. Just want to make sure you're okay. And it's like super nice, super, super chill. And I don't know, by the time I came down, I looked at him and I was just like, so that happened. We get home and like we get out of the car. I was like, that happened. And he's like, all right, it's okay, buddy. He was like, we won't talk about it if you don't want to. And I was like, I'll talk about it, don't worry. And anytime we see each other now, he's like, have you done mushrooms since? I'm like, no. And then we kind of laugh. But yeah, basically I got way too high on mushrooms in the car, and yeah, had him calming me down for like 2 hours. So
It at least kept him awake though.
it did. At the end of it,
There
I
you
did.
go.
I said that to him like a day or so later. I was like, "Hey, I at least kept you up," and he sent me, "Shut up, Taylor." So I was like, "All right, you're good." Man,
I was sleeping.
yeah, you were out. Everybody
I
else
was
was asleep
asleep.
during all this. So.
Yeah.
Man, what's some other shenanigans? Did we get into anything crazy? Not
I
crazy,
think
maybe
there's
on
like
this
a
tour,
fun
but-
little micro moments. Like I really enjoyed Kevin watching the fights at the VFW show, and
Oh yeah,
and that was
yeah.
in Madison, Wisconsin, right?
Mm.
That was just fun, you know. Like I don't know, sort of being in a VFW, and like Kevin, like has been so excited about these UFC fights that are happening that night.
It's like his life.
I mean,
Kevin loves
it's like his
UFC,
favorite fucking
like,
thing, dude.
yeah.
Like, so I mean, he wants to watch this fight, but it's happening like right when we play. So he has like this setup going in the VFW, like he's got his laptop and shit, and he's posted up and he's like watching it, you know, and like we kept making jokes. We're like, do we need to find somebody else to play drums? And he's like, no, of course not.
I'll be here for the show.
But I just feel like it was just like you know, 5 minutes before we have to play, he stops watching. He plays the set. He goes right back. Just
Yeah,
like
he tore off what he needed to tear off the page, and he would just like
boom.
laptop on.
Yeah,
Like
it's just something really funny and cool about like being at a VFW in Madison. You know, just like and drummers like watching the fights. You know, and just, I don't know. That's not even really that crazy.
It's funny.
It's funny. I don't know.
Well, he obviously cares about the shows, and he's stoked to be there and all that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it was like it was
just
almost like there was this era of like I can give a fuck about anything but this UFC fight right now, you know. And he was just like, I'm driven about
I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah, it was hilarious. It was like as soon as we got there, he's like, "All right, do y'all know the Wi-Fi? Yeah, it's this. Okay, cool. All right, I'll see y'all in like an hour or two. All right, dude, cool. And then we just find him in a corner like an hour later. Just like I'm pretty sure he had his headphones on.
Yeah,
he was just like had a beer, had a water right next to him. He was just like
just focused,
zoned in.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, sick. So 30 minutes till we play. Okay, so I still have 30 minutes. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Dude, I think another funny moment from tour, which this is probably so funny to us because we were so tired and just like. I mean, we were all just like tired and like and feeling giggly. Real, you know. It was the second to last night. So we played Nashville. Second to last night. Because we were about to head to Springfield right after. We stayed with one of Kevin's friends in Nashville, and they had it was like a washer, like a driver washer that kept making this like sound, which like is important to the story that I acted it out and everything.
That was awesome.
So, you remember that? So you might have just passed out on the couch upstairs, but basically Cameron Wilkerson, so our bass player Skylar, his brother is the drummer for Sunfo, and then Skylar plays with Sunfo as well. So it was like Cameron, like his brother, Skylar, and then Cameron Telford from Sunfo. And they were just standing around in this bedroom that me and Kevin were staying in, and we could hear the washer just make the sound.
The video is so good.
Anytime they would hear that, each one of them in order would go like they were roaring, and like
fucking awesome.
it was so funny. We
So
got it on
funny.
like somebody's like phone, and it was like we got it in slow mo. So it's like anytime they go. It'd be like this kind of noise, but it was just coming from the washer, and we were dying laughing. Like I'm pretty sure I had fallen over. I was like red in the face. Like it was amazing, and we couldn't stop laughing for like 30-45 minutes. And I don't know, that's not like anything crazy on tour, but you know, it was just so funny, and we all just were like in that moment, and like. I don't know. It was just so innocent and silly and just fun. And at like 2 a.m. in Nashville, like
yeah.
Because every band has those moments where like it's it's super late. Everyone's slightly sleep deprived, and then
Yeah.
just one thing pops it off where it just becomes hilarious for no reason at all. And
No.
those are always just every band has those like inside moments of like they can just think of it and then it just brings them back to that moment. So it's funny. That's
Yeah.
why I relate it and think it's funny.
Yeah, it was
Absolutely.
yeah. I feel like, man, I feel like we did more on that. Like maybe we didn't do as many whack, like or not whack things.
I mean, I don't know. There was a lot of like funny stuff. I don't know, man. I don't know. Can't really think of anything like specific that was like super, like a story. I don't know.
So I bought, and I hope I don't make dude mad for saying this, but so Cameron from Sunpo turned 21 on this tour, right? And so I bought him his first drink. I was like, I'm gonna be your homie, like, like I like to do that for any of my homies that turn 21. I'm like, I'll buy your first drink, even if you don't drink, I'll buy your water, whatever, just like a tradition,
Celebrate.
whatever
Yeah.
thing. And so I bought him this like this blueberry drink at some bar in Bowling Green, Ohio. And like I was so stoked. I was like, I'm gonna get you your first drink, man. Like we're gonna have your first drink together. And he was like, yeah, heck yeah. And we got it, and it was like the worst drink I've ever ordered, ever. We both took a sip, and he just was like, this is bad, man. Not to be rude, but like I don't like this. And I was like,
it sucks.
you're not rude. It's okay. Like I'm sorry that was your first like legal drink, and I like ordered like the worst thing. And he was like, no, it's okay. He was trying to be so nice, but he took maybe one more sip, ordered himself a beer, and I was like, okay. But just his face whenever he took that first drink was just like, this is ass. And I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, but we laughed about it. I ended up finishing the drink, so got not a free drink.
You still paid for it.
Actually, no. They wiped it because it was his birthday, actually. So
Oh,
I did get
nice.
free drinks. So
Nice. That's good. Because it was terrible, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yes.
I will say blueberry things are like very hit or miss when you go to try and find like alcoholic versions of them.
Yeah.
I remember when like me and my friends all turned 21, the liquor store in town, we made a kind of like a deal within ourselves of like everyone in our town where we're from in Iowa, they all just drink Busch Light, and we're like, we don't want to be those people. We want to experience other things. So every time we would go to the liquor store, we would each grab a different case or 6-pack of something different every time. And one of the times, someone grabbed like a 6-pack of like blueberry beer, and it was so bad that we just would we ended up just like using it instead of like ices, like Smirnoff ices. We would just ice people with the blueberry beer, just because it was that bad that like none of us wanted to drink more than like one of the 6-pack.
That's awesome. That's great, actually.
Yeah, like fruity stuff can be like pretty awful sometimes if it's not done well. It's I feel like that's like the the amount. Yeah, it can just be really bad. It can be really rough. Yeah,
especially if it's like a beer like that has like fruit, like hints of fruit, or like has like very like prominent fruit flavor. Like I got
tricky to get. I think right. I don't know.
Yeah, fruity stuff is very hard to do. I know my friends were lucky enough to partner with like their local brewery, and they did like I think it was a peach base beer, and that one actually came out pretty well. The only downfall was that they couldn't sell it like in any of the stores. You could only get it at the brewery because since there was peaches in it and it was made with peaches, it had to be refrigerated all the time. So like there wasn't like refrigerated transfer vehicles to take it places. So when I got like mine, I had to like he had to bring it like in a cooler like packed with ice just to like keep it cold. But they hit super well.
Dude, that honestly a peach like flavored like beer sounds fucking great. I'm not gonna lie, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I to just little side note, I like peach things, like that's good, like peach Snapple, whatever. But man, one of the best peach things I ever had was in Austin, Texas. So at the Ben Quad Hot Mulligan show on that tour they did last year, just to go see the dudes hang out, Henry was talking about peach crown, like peach crown royal, and he had been talking about it, for like however long, like leading up to this. And so I mentioned how I wanted to try it. So dude was like, fuck it, let's go to a liquor store. So we walk to a liquor store. He gets peach crown, and we come back and like just did like a couple shots of it, and like one of the best peach things ever. And so just
Nice.
shout out to Benry, to Henry Quad for that. So that's one of my favorite liquors now, is just a peach crown. So shout out Benry.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, just thinking of peach stuff.
Hell yeah.
Well, I'll have to try that at some point. Because the other crowns have all been super good as well. But like as we're starting to wind down, we kind of talked. I mean, we talked a lot of stuff. We talked Oklahoma scene, just to recap for people that might just now be tuning in. I don't know why you tune in right at the very end, but we talked the Oklahoma scene. We talked, timelines. We talked about some stories from you guys' time music. But I always like to end off these moments on a high note. Not to say that none of this has been a high note already. I've had a great time, but I like to end off on like that just real touchy-feely moment. So my final question to the two of you is, from your time in King Pink, what has been your favorite moment that you've experienced so far?
Favorite moment.
I have like a recurring one. It's a moment that I share with everybody individually on stage. It's always like maybe it's just how I perceive it. It's just like a look we all give each other. But whenever we're just having fun, and I can look across at Dylan, like just meet his eye, or Skylar or Kev, and just like we look like we're having fun, and I'll just start smiling, and then I'll see them start smiling, and I'm like, that's it. Okay, we're doing it. Like, that's cool. It's like whether we're practicing or whether we're playing to. I mean, I don't know if we've ever played to more than like 400 people, but you know what I mean? Like a bunch of people, like just getting to have those moments and be like, I'm doing this with my dudes, and this like feels great. And like, I love these guys and I love what we're doing. And so just having those moments where we kind of like meet each other's eye, and just like, I personally feel this just like this sense of joy, and just like connectedness, if you will. Like I just feel like I'm where I should be. So a bit, short version that on stage, having those moments feels great, man. From day one to now.
That's a good answer, because it's multiple moments too. It's sort of like you sort of like got a cop out there. You're not.
Oh no, that's not. No, that wasn't definitely not the intention.
No, it was great. That's like you. I mean, because that's true. I feel like that's a really good answer, like that. Because that's
true.
It is true.
I talked to my girlfriend about this.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I feel like I have like a slightly different version of that is pretty much the same thing. You know what I mean? True, just like when you feel that, like when you feel connected to the people that you're playing with, and you realize that they're all like, like I realize that you're in it, and you are, you're in a when we catch each other in a moment of like appreciation and just like genuine like happiness, it's pretty sick. It's pretty sick. Yeah. It's pretty crazy. Yeah, like that's definitely like makes it all kind of like way more than worth it. It's just like, oh yeah, it's just really cool. I don't know. It's really fun. It's really, really cool.
It's like those aha moments, like it just clicks of like, oh no, like this makes sense. It's like this is what we were. This feels right.
It feels like almost a little bit spiritual, kind of, even if there's no like direct spiritual connotations. It just feels like that. You're just like, this is. It's just so cool, and also just like being in a room with a lot of people and feeling like we're all sort of like on the same page in that moment, or whatever. Like we're all kind of just feeling that connection.
We're all in this together.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
Yes. No, that's exactly it, dude. It feels great. It feels great. It's wonderful, man. I know. Truly though, it is like it's great. It's awesome. It's just cool, man. It's cool playing with your friends, and like getting to make friends, and getting to like make those connections with the people you're playing with, and getting to share those moments. It's really, really cool. I wish I had like one moment or something that I could like bring up that kind of like stands out, but I don't really know. I don't really know if it's like,
That's fair.
I don't know.
So like I obviously have like that moment on stage, those moments on stage with everybody.
Yeah.
And this one is maybe a little less serious. But something I really enjoy and that especially stood out to me on this run was anytime I would make a food suggestion and Skylar would look at me like I was crazy because he and I have the complete opposite like food preferences. I mean, like we like what the other likes, but like my favorite thing is barbecue, right? Like whether it's veggies, whether it's meat, I just love barbecue and the smokiness and all that. Skylar could give a fuck about that. He had told me that. I was really pushing for us to go to like a Nashville or Memphis style place whenever we were in Tennessee, and he was like, I mean, if we have to, like, that's fine. I just don't see why you care. I mean, he's not, there's no malice or whatever behind it. He's just like, why, dude? Why? And I'm like, why not? Like, what? Are you kidding me? And so, like, yeah, I remember us having like a talk, like, it was like 2 days before Nashville, and I was like, dude, we have to go to this place. And he was like, I don't get it, man. And so we just had like a 10, 15-minute conversation about that. And I was like, why don't you like it? And he's like, I don't know. Why do you like it? And yeah, but that was just a very like, I don't know, good like human moment with Skylar, and I'll never forget that. So
you guys are like brothers, kind of.
Yeah. Sure. We've known each other for quite a while.
I love it. Do you have like a favorite show that we've played?
Oh, just
I was almost thinking like when I think of like moments from the past year or two that have been extremely like significant. Honestly, the Sanctuary show that kicked off the tour pops up a little bit. I don't know what it is about that one. I think because we had so many friends there, it just felt so like
it felt good.
It felt really good. It was just a really cool moment. Like that Sanctuary show was like Photocopy, us, Red Sun, and who else played?
And Sunfo.
Sunfo, of course.
Yeah,
Sunfo. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. There were just so many familiar faces in one room. It was insane. It was just really cool. Like I don't know. That one pops up for sure, but that's a pretty, again, just kind of not a very specific one, but I mean, that felt great, just
for sure.
That was really, really cool.
Great time. Yeah, and I don't know if I have a favorite show. Like we played a show at the Sanctuary, like the old location, because Sanctuary, like, popping like local spot here in town. They moved like all of a mile away, just better venue, better parking, all that. But before they moved, we played a show. It might be 2 years ago now, but I think like just because like so my girlfriend was able to be there for that show. She has some health issues, so she can't always make it to shows, loud noises, stuff like that. But she was able to make it to that show. Sunfo homies were there. I'm pretty sure Ben Quad, like just a bunch of our like homies were there for this show, and like there was a good collection of like people that weren't there, that I normally wouldn't see at shows. Maybe I worked at Costco for a little bit, so I got like half of my cohort from my Costco call center like family. I got them to come out. Yeah, so it was just like a weird collection of people. Like you had all your regular show homies, and then people that had probably never been to a show. A couple of my coworkers never had been to shows. So if I had to pick a favorite show, I'd say that, just because it was like a blending of all the.
That was a good one. That one
my
was
mom
wacky.
popped in too.
Shout out Donna. Yeah.
What's up, Donna? What's up, Mom? Sorry, I called you Donna.
It's just it's crazy surreal. Like when you get like so many people that you know in a room like that, and like I don't know, a lot of different crossing, circles, and it's just like at the end of the day, it almost feels like I know music is like a pretty big concept and like topic, but being in a band and stuff, like playing shows like that almost feels like an excuse just to get everybody together and just have a good time. At the end of the day, that's kind of like almost like the MO. So it's really cool when, I don't know, it's just crazy sometimes. You're like, oh my God, look at all these people. It's crazy. Sure. We all know each other. That's crazy. That's so cool.
The short version, those are our favorite moments.
No, yeah, those moments are always the best. Like that's I've been terrible about plugging it in the episodes, but if you follow me on any of the socials, everyone knows that this is coming up. But the podcast turns 5 this year, so with it, I
Nice.
decided to throw like thank you. I decided to throw like a little, basically like mini fest. I have 7 bands playing, all homies that have been around since like day one. Doing it back home in Iowa City at my favorite venue in the fucking world. And it's gonna be a fucking amazing time. And like whether fucking 10 people show up or 400 people show up, 400 people are not gonna show up. But whatever the number is, like I don't care what the total number is. I'm just excited to see all of my friends that I have booked for the show play their sets and just like hang out with my friends that I like, because I now live in Minneapolis, so I'm not hanging out with them all the time, but like they've all been there, and I've been in the scene with them since like 2013. So I'm so stoked to just have beers and just watch them rip a set and just like finger point and like get drunk and just hang out.
Yeah,
that's the best.
That's freaking awesome, dude. Yes,
that's so sick.
Yeah, it'll hopefully be a good time. If you're in Iowa City, if you're gonna be around Iowa City, June 22nd. Check the socials for all the links. But like this has been a great time hanging out with Tyler and Dylan. King Pink is fucking killing it. Like, I was so happy that I had mentioned we've been mutuals on Twitter for a while. Thankfully one of the songs hit like a playlist, and I finally listened to the full EP, and I was like, okay, this needs to happen. And you responded right away, super down. And because I caught you like with the last like couple days of your tour, so I was like, all right, well, we'll see how this goes, and it worked out perfectly. But like the album is killer, and everyone that's listening, please go listen to Timelines. Listen to Timelines. Listen to Timelines.
Dude, thank you for plugging us and just jamming.
Yeah, it's super sweet, though. I appreciate it.
Having us on this too has been awesome, man. Like that's fucking cool. Thank you, seriously, for everything, dude.
Wonderful, yeah. Hopefully we can hang in person sometime soon. That'd be pretty cool.
Please.
Yeah. I hope so. I hope that happens in the future, because it'd be a wild, fun time for sure. But before we'll see how that goes. But if anyone's looking for merch, music, or King Pink in general, where can they find it?
So merch, kingpinkok.bigcartel.com. You can get any of our hats. We have 2 shirts up right now. And then as far as our music, just go to Spotify, look up King Pink. We're also on Bandcamp, Apple Music, YouTube, any of that. Music videos, YouTube, just look for King Pink. Not too many other companies or anything are using the name King Pink, so you'll probably find us fairly easily. And then social media, anything King Pink OK, King Pink Oklahoma, you'll find us.
Everyone go get a hat, because they came out fucking sick. Like that design, so simplistic but so well done. And depending on where you found this episode, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, Threads, or you watch the YouTube version, got to see their lovely faces like I did tonight, check the description down below. Follow them on all the socials. Be ready for new music, new shows. I know at the end of June, you have that show that you guys just hopped on, and I'm blanking on. No, that one's sooner. You have another show at the end of June that everyone should be ready for.
Yes. So we had that show at the end of June. We actually just got added to a show like 2 days ago with House and Home, Rarity, and Trophy Eyes. A week from today, it's going to be May 21st. So at 89th Street in Oklahoma City.
Yeah. And then what's the one at the end of June?
End of June is Trees Don't Move, Sunfo, Dinosaur Boyfriend in Oklahoma City at Resonant Head.
Oh, yeah, Resonant Head. That'll be fun. Yeah.
Cool. So be sure to go to one of those. One might have already happened by the time this episode comes out, but it was a banger, and y'all should have been there.
We'll see. No, that'll be sick.
But like I normally say, I'm not in Oklahoma. I can't make it to these shows currently because I can't time travel. But y'all are in Oklahoma. Go to these shows. Go tell me, report back. Tell me how King Pink is doing it in their performances, and go have a beer or PBR. Have a shot with Taylor for me. But dudes, as much as I can keep rambling on this outro, but I gotta say, it's been a great time. Like the album 100% is killer, and I'm really stoked on everything that's coming next.
Yeah. Thanks, man. I appreciate
thank
that.
you again, man.
I'll see you
having us for everything.
I appreciate that.
Well, everyone, go to King Pink, listen to Timelines, go get a hat, go follow them, be ready for everything coming next, and I will catch you next week. See ya.
Yeah.
Or should we?
Yeah. That's awesome. Let's go.
Beers with Biz.